Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Conservancy Connections. My name is Kelly and I am the coastal educator from the Bald Head Island Conservancy. The Bald Head Island Conservancy is a small environmental nonprofit located on Bald Head Island, North Carolina. We are known for our sea turtle conservation, barrier island studies, and education programs. We are unable to go to the island and you are unable to come visit us, so we are coming to you guys in your homes to give you guys a little bit of education. If you want to support us at the Conservancy, we have a donation link down below. No donation is too small. We want to thank you guys so much for everything that you do for us, and please put education in the comments section so we know where your donation is coming from. And without further ado, let's learn about an animal today. So this video today is all about foxes, and foxes are really beautiful creatures. But before we get into the specifics on foxes, what type of animal are they? Foxes are mammals, and all mammals have certain characteristics that make them classified as a mammal. The very first one is that they have fur at some point of their lives. So our foxes do have fur. Their fur is very dense and it keeps them very warm. There are certain types of foxes that will even live in the Arctic, so that fur needs to be very dense to keep their bodies very warm. The next characteristic of a mammal is that they are endotherms. Endo means inside and therm means temperature. So that means that they are controlling their body temperature from inside of their bodies. They are very similar to us. We as humans are endotherms. So what do you guys do if you get really cold in the winter? Do you shiver? That is when your body is trying to warm itself up. So I want you guys to put your hands together just like this and rub them together really, really fast. Can you feel your hands starting to get warm? That's similar to what your body is doing when you are starting to shiver. What do you do if you get really, really hot? You start to sweat. So all mammals have different ways of cooling themselves off, and foxes are more closely related to dogs, so they don't necessarily sweat, but they do pant to cool themselves off. As whatever moisture is showing will evaporate, that cools their body down. So it'll cool their tongue down, which then in turn cools down their body. While with us, that sweat on our bodies will evaporate and it'll cool down the surface of our skin. The next thing that makes an animal a mammal is that they are born alive. They are not born in an egg. They are not born by spawning into the water. They are born alive, similar to a human, a dog, a cat, a dolphin. All these animals give live birth. And then after they are born, they drink milk. So if you think of a little baby, they're drinking milk. So our baby foxes are going to be drinking milk as well. And the very last one is that they have very complex brains. Mammals have some of the most complex brains in the animal kingdom. So they usually have a way to talk to each other. They really know the area that they are living in. They can have real thoughts, and they just have very complex brains. So our foxes are mammals, and even though they are mammals, that does not mean that they are big creatures. Foxes are relatively small. They're some of the smallest animals in the dog family. So our foxes are mammals, and they are very, very small mammals. And they are part of the dog family, or Canidae. So they are related to our wolves, our dogs, our coyotes, and things like that that are all in that dog family. But even though our foxes are more related to dogs, they act more like cats. They are relatively small. Foxes usually are between 7 and 15 pounds. So that is a very small animal. And they have very thick fur, very similar to a cat's. They also have eyes that are very similar to cats. Their eyes have that up and down pupil that allow them to see very well in the dark. Cats like to live at night, and they're very good hunters in the dark, while the dog family usually hunt a little bit more during the day or as the sun is going down. So they have this very cat-like eye. They also have very cat-like ears as well. So their ears stand up on top of their head, and they can move them independently from each other, so they can really pinpoint wherever any sound is coming from. Different species of foxes have different ears because they all are hunting different things. They also have very small paws compared to their bodies. They are very light on their feet, and they're able to leap and jump, and some are even able to climb trees. So our foxes are very similar to cats, even though they are in the dog family. Also, unlike dogs, foxes are typically solitary animals. The only time you're really going to see them together is when a mom has a litter, so whenever the mom has babies. And that's usually when you're going to see them together. A mom can have between 1 and 11 pups in a year, and she takes extremely good care of her babies. These baby foxes can be called pups or kits, and these babies are born completely blind. Their eyes are closed, and they are very helpless to the world. The moms will take care of their babies until they can go off on their own. And there was even a story in England that there was a baby fox that was stuck in a trap, and the mom continued to feed the baby for about a week after it got caught before it was released, and the baby made a full recovery, all because the mom was still feeding the baby. These fox families will live in dens or burrows, so they really like to live underneath things. So sometimes they'll live under a bush, sometimes they'll even live under a shed, or even under some trees that have fallen down. They like to dig out a den from underneath something so they have plenty of protection. And they are relatively small, so these dens really aren't that big either. Foxes can be found basically anywhere in the world. They are one of the most widespread types of animals in the world. Our foxes are omnivores, so they are going to eat kind of anything that they can find. These foxes will eat bugs, they will eat small rodents, they will eat some berries, they will eat garbage if that's what they can find if they live in an urban area, and they are really good hunters. So they will hunt at night, and they know exactly what they're going to find because they hunt using the magnetism of the earth. And that is how they are able to find these foods that they see time after time. So that's where they're able to find these berry bushes, that's where they're able to find bugs that like to live in one area. And if they find enough food, they will then bring it back to their den and bury it so that they can come back to the food later. Foxes are extremely vocal animals too. They have about 40 different noises that they can make. So there is a song, What Does the Fox Say? And they do say a whole lot. They do make some crazy noises, they can make some screams, and I highly recommend looking up all the different noises that a fox can make. On Bald Head Island specifically, we have 2 different species of foxes. The first one that we have is the red fox. These are the largest of what is called a true fox, and their name is Vulpes vulpes, which literally means fox fox. So they are the most widespread fox, and they are found all over the northern hemisphere. So that means that they are found in North America, Asia, Europe. They are found super widespread, so many people know what a fox looks like. They have this beautiful red fur, and their black socks, and a white belly, and these are those true foxes that you think of when you think of a fox. Because these foxes are so widespread, this is the type that is usually hunted for their fur. They're also the ones that have been domesticated to a sort. Foxes have become a large name in the human household. They have very much so benefited from humans because they are small enough to not pose a threat to humans, so they can still live around them. So if there is an apartment complex, they can still live around that apartment complex, they can still make their dens under those bushes. Or if there is a neighborhood, these foxes are not having many issues when it comes to human populations. Their populations are completely fine, they are not endangered at all, they are doing a-okay. The other species of fox that we have on Bald Head Island is the gray fox. These foxes are just a little bit smaller, but they have retractable claws similar to a cat. These gray foxes live up in trees for the most part, and they're very good climbers. They can climb very quickly, they are great jumpers, they are very swift on their feet, and they are extremely hard to find just because they are so quick and they are very, very good climbers. It is believed that before human populations, these gray foxes were much more common than the red foxes, but because they rely so much on trees, with deforestation happening, they have retreated a little bit more into the forest. They are not found as often as those red foxes that are still doing very well with human populations. Even though this is still happening, the gray foxes are still doing very well. They are still of least concern. They are very cute. They are very pretty little foxes. These gray foxes are relatively smaller than the red foxes, and they do have a little bit of red along the sides of their bodies. But the easiest way to tell the difference between a red fox and a gray fox is by looking at their tails. The gray foxes have a black tipped tail, while the red foxes have a white tipped tail. So even though we do have these foxes on Bald Head Island, in 2013 there was a case of distemper. Distemper is a disease that can really hurt types of dogs. So this can affect wolves, it can affect family dogs, it can affect foxes, and there was a case on Bald Head Island that severely decreased the populations of both fox species on the island. The populations have started to come back. A niche in an ecosystem is the specific role that an animal plays. So these are small predators that are eating small rodents, they are eating little birds, they are eating insects. They usually are leaving the larger animals like the deer alone. So that is their specific niche in the ecosystem. Now that it is springtime, we are starting to see a lot of baby animals on Bald Head Island. So if you guys are living on the island, or if you are just staying on the island, and you find an animal that looks like it is left alone from its mother, please call the wildlife hotline. We do have a specific phone number to call in animals that you may be worried about. We would love to come over and check it out, see if the animal's doing okay or if it needs a little bit of help. That phone number is 910-457-0089, extension number 5. This goes for any animal that you might find that looks like it's injured. So it could be a deer, a fox, a turtle, a snake, anything that you guys find, we want to be able to help. Please do not touch these animals. We do not want you to get hurt. We do not want the animal to get hurt. We have trained staff at the Conservancy to come pick up an animal and take it to a rehab facility if it needs to go. So I want to thank you guys again for coming out today. I had a great time learning about foxes. They are just such cool animals. And I hope that you guys had fun as well. If you guys do want to donate to the Conservancy, we have a donation link down below. Please put education in the comments section if you do decide to donate so we know where the donation is coming from. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out today. I had so much fun. Please let me know if there's any topics that you want to learn about. I would love to talk about more, and I hope to see you guys again on the next one. Bye.